Hi guys, I'm back with a new tutorial. I know that this is a really summery palette, but I did get a little bit of smoky darkness out of it, so I want to just show you really quick. This is the Lorac Alter Ego Dreamgirl palette. It's so pretty. It has like a rubberized kind of outside, but not like NARS products or the Urban Decay Vice 1 palette. It's not as like sticky almost as those. It's nice plastic, smooth plastic, but it does kind of have like a velvety almost feel to it, a soft feel to it. Really gorgeous tangerine shade on the outside. You guys know I love these little slim palettes that they put out in the summertime. I hope they never stop. But this is what the palette looks like right here. A nice tropical set of colors, except I used the darkest one and then this purple right here for this look. So I'm going to call this look, just because of the nature of the lipstick that I'm wearing, I'm going to call this like a 90s look. But it's not grunge. Do not call a look like this grunge. This isn't grunge. Grunge makeup is more like I just did, you know, heroin and I did whatever. I don't care. You know, like it's kind of smeary. This would, and it's not goth. This look isn't goth either. I would call this goth curious. Like if you're a high schooler and you just kind of want to get into goth. In the 90s, this is probably the kind of makeup that you would have wore. At least that's what I recall anyways. The lipstick that I'm wearing is a dupe for a Lime Crime Velveteen, and much cheaper, and I will get to that at the end of the video when I apply it. But very, very interesting color. Haven't seen anything like this since the 90s actually. L'Oreal used to have a color that was pretty similar to this that I just wore constantly, like got down to the bottom of the tube and everything. So, without further ado, let's get on to the tutorial. Alrighty, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Lorac palette and a great big blending brush. This is from Real Techniques, and I'm going to take this shade right here. This is a warm matte brown shade. It almost looks orange in my viewfinder, but I'm going to take that and stick that in my crease. Kind of the upper crease. Then I'm going to go into the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. You do not have to do this. You can use your pressed powder or whatever brow highlighter you like to use. I'm going to take the yellow shade, which is called Lyric, up here. I'm just going to put that right here under the eyebrow. There are also some shimmery highlights in the Lorac palette, so you can use those as well. I'm going to try to keep this matte up here. And I'm also going to put a little bit of that on the inner half of my eyelid. And then you can skip this step if you want to. I just wanted to make my outer V just a little bit deeper. So I'm going to go into the Pulp Fiction palette and use Vengeance, which is a dark, cool brown shade with a shading brush. And just go on the outer V, on the outer crease. By the way, I did line my waterline already. I just used the Jordana Black Point eye pencil. And you could leave it like this if you wanted to. Because this is a nice look, actually. But now I'm going to go back to the Lorac Alter Ego palette. And I'm going to grab the end shade here. This is a very shimmery, cool brown shade. Just really beautiful. It almost has a burgundy undertone to it. I'm going to take the same shading brush. And I'm going to drive that shade over that dark color that we just put and into the crease. So I'm just putting this right around my eyeball, just right in the eye socket. Yeah, just right in there. Under the skin. Hardcore. Now we're just kind of going around the eyeball. Just like that. Going around the eye on the outer corner. Just like that. Just rounding it around. And then on the lower lash line. We're basically circling the whole eye with this shimmery color, this shimmery brown. So we're getting a really smoky look. Alrighty. The last part of the eyeshadow look is this purple right here, this really shimmery, lilac-y purple. And I'm just going to take my finger in that so I don't get any shimmer fallout. And I'm going to pat that on the inner corner, in the inner half of my lid. This would look really pretty too using the Hard Candy Smoky Shadow Primer, that dark one that I showed you in my Hard Candy video. That'd look really, really neat. It would change the tone a little bit. A little bit more on this side. And then wipe off your big fluffy brush and then kind of just buff out anything that looks really harsh. Maybe add just a little bit more liner on the waterline. Alrighty, now I'm going to put on mascara and I'll be back to finish up the face. Okay, so for foundation today I used the Maybelline Fit Me Matte plus Poreless foundation, and the shade is Natural Beige. And for concealer I used the Maybelline MasterConceal. Now I use this under my eyes, and if you are finding it just a little bit thick and kind of hard to spread around, especially if you have a lot of loose skin under your eyes, like most of us are getting because we're getting old, what I did was I took my brush, I went ahead and placed some product under my eyes just with the little nozzle tip, and then I sprayed my brush with the e.l.f. Makeup Mist and Set to wet it down a little bit, and it spread like a dream. So if you're having problems with this concealer being too thick, that's a good way to use it under the eyes without it being too cakey or anything like that. For my contour, I used the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. I am in love with this thing, you guys know that. And now for lips. Ooh, that's exciting. In one of my previous videos, I was talking some smack about lime crime and how you should stay away from it. And I was looking at the lime crime, or the boycott lime crime tag on Instagram, and a lot of people were just completely in love with this shade from Lime Crime. It's one of their lip velveteens called Cashmere. And somebody said that a dupe for the shade was the Lip Couture Waterproof Liquid Lipstick from LA Splash in the shade Ghoulish. And when I saw the Lime Crime version, I was like, that's really an interesting color. And then I saw the Ghoulish, and I was like, ooh, exactly the same, except way cheaper and no racism and no credit card theft. But this is a matte liquid lipstick. It's just an awesome shade though. It's a grayish, but it has a little bit of lavender undertones in there. So it's just a really neat modern color. Actually, it's not that modern. It's a pretty 90s color actually. So I'm going to go ahead and apply that. And basically what I do is I start at the bottom. While it's still wet, you can correct mistakes. Push my lips together a little bit, and then go ahead on the top lip. And I kind of do overline my lips on the top with this shade because it just looks nice. So I go a little bit outside my natural lip line. And give that a minute to dry. And there you go. That's what it looks like completely dry. Now, this is pretty much, I would say, pretty similar to any brand, you know, at your drugstore, like Maybelline, Revlon. L'Oreal also has one where it's a dual-ended, kind of like a lip paint on this side and then a lip balm on the other side. It pretty much feels a lot like that. However, I haven't really experienced any like chipping off of it, because sometimes those products they chip off during the day. I went on a little shopping trip a couple weeks ago, and it did pretty good. The only thing is, whenever you eat, it'll get a little bit bare. If you have any kind of oil in your food whatsoever, you'll get a little bare here in the center, and that's it really. And that's what will also take it off. Any kind of lip balm or like oil or something like that will take this lipstick off, because it is kind of a pain in the ass just to try to wipe off. It won't do that, and it's pretty stay put, I have to say. I can kiss Jason and it doesn't transfer onto him, so I really love this. Again, it's the LA Splash Lip Couture, and you can get that at their website, and I think that there may be like a wholesale website that sells it as well. But these are only like about $12, and with shipping it was about $16. So this is I think it's just really a nice, unique shade, and I really like it. So anyways, that does it for this tutorial, guys. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Bye!